short answer is a step at a time, incrementally. Make increases in your chanting a little at a time and maintain it over a period of time. And after you've maintained for a period of time, then another little increase over a period of time. That's a general rule. Sometimes devotees make these big quantum increases in chanting, and sometimes it stays. And it's nice when it stays, and it's not nice when it doesn't stay. So, as a rule of thumb, make efforts to increase chanting in incremental steps. And another response to this is, if you want to increase your chanting, then increase the feeling behind your chanting, and your chanting will increase. In other words, you don't go for an increase in chanting with feeling, and when you're chanting with feeling, you will want to increase. But you go for an increase of chanting, and you'll be wondering, some days I'm feeling like chanting, and some days I'm not. But I made this increase, now what do I do? Okay, here's another very different question. How should we approach leaving a loved place because of a material situation? Example, leaving Chicago's great community for some other place, or is not as conducive to devotional service because of a job situation, etc. How should we approach leaving a loved place because of a material situation? Well, we can think of Srila Prabhupada, and he left a loved place, Vrindavan. He loved Vrindavan. And where he was in Vrindavan, he said, it's the most sacred place in the universe, even though Rupa Goswami says that Radhakund is the most sacred place in the universe. Just outside his window was the place of Rupa Goswami, his bhajan kutir and samadhi. And the place where all the Goswamis would come on a regular basis and have Krishna Katha, and that's where he was residing, in those two little rooms in Radha Damodar. He had such a wonderful situation. And he left that wonderful situation. He left his home, he left where his heart was, to go to another place. But it was for service. And because of service, there was separation from that loved place. And he returned. And then he left again. Because of service. So when we're in the mood of service, we can carry the feeling of that place with us and execute some service. Be an extension of those loving relationships that you left behind, and expand the network of loving relationships in the next place. As part of your service. And then when you meet those devotees at that other place and you go back for a visit to that loved place, you have them come with you and they go, wow, this is really wonderful. And you're effectively extending the network of loving relationships. as a service. In a life of devotion, something that experience tells, I don't know the exact verse, but there's something in the Old Testament of the Bible that speaks something about there's a season for all things. You know, there's a time of life for this and there's a time of life for that. It's just how life is arranged. So there's a time where one may come together, there's a time where one may disperse. And in that dispersing, it's a different feeling, and it's a different maturing of one's Krishna consciousness that's required to go more deeply than in the dependency or the over-dependency on the circumstance, and cultivate and nurture that essence which one has received and grow it, and then extend it to others. And that same opportunity isn't there, or may not be taken advantage of, when you're in the midst of that former situation. And it's not that Krishna puts us in situations where we can't grow in Krishna consciousness or mature in our spiritual lives. Each circumstance Krishna arranges for us has its opportunity. Wow. When it is so difficult to go back from the material world, I assume that's to the spiritual world, why was it so easy to come into it? Or it was equally difficult? Interesting question. Let's share this. There's been a flurry of discussion. I was thinking of sending it out. In our GBC conference, we have GBC members and GBC deputies, and there's a whole group of people that are part of a conference. So somebody started this topic of the fall of the jiva. And there's a lot of talk on this conference about the fall of the jiva, as this is being asked about. So one of the things that somebody said was, why are we making such a big deal about this issue? Because our acharyas hardly even spoke about it. This is a call I'm expecting from Gopal Bhatta. Yes, it is. Just a sec. Gopal Bhatta, can I ring you back? Yeah, it's probably with caller ID here. I'm in the middle of a class and I'll just ring you back. How much time you have? Break. Oh, good. Call you back. Thanks. Okay. It's an important call. So I left my cell phone on. Bhakti Vaibhav Maharaj. Oh, yeah. Someone was saying, why are we all this big? Because our acharyas never spoke about it. So, Bhakti Vaibhav Maharaj, this has been going on for about 2 weeks. He said, very curiously, somebody gave me a book that was a compilation by some professor, blah, 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 some professor, not like, it doesn't give his devotee name, just professor something, that had gone through the writings of our acharyas and pulled out very explicit things that they said about the fall of the jiva, from Vaikuntha to this realm. When I have some more time than I've been having lately, I'll put it all together in like a little document and send it out. But very, very explicit. Jiva Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, not just, verses from the Bhagavatam and purports from Srila Prabhupada, but our acharyas speaking explicitly on this topic. comparing the Jai and Vijay fall to other living entities that come, and so on and so on. It's like a very involved topic. So living entities falling, it's less than a second. And returning, it's less than a second. Prabhupada says, when we return to the spiritual world, there will be the sense that it was just like a blink of an eye. Inconsequential, fragmental, fraction of a time. Because in fact it's illusion. How many drops are there? How many drops of water are there in a desert? How much time is there in illusion? So it's illusion. So the difficulty is we're attached to illusion. That's why it's so difficult. We're attached to our misery, the sources of misery. Not so much attached to the misery, we're attached to the sources of misery. The source of the misery is ignorance. Does it make sense? Not at all. The whole thing doesn't make sense. And that's the nature of illusion. I was at a home program in Tennessee, and I was told the family that's the host of the program wants to invite a whole bunch of new people. And they're expecting 15 families to come, all new people. I said, how many committed to come? He said, 15. I said, here's the rule. Divide it in half, and that's how many will come. And they'll come when the program is almost over. They said, no, 15 will come. I said, okay, we'll see. Sure enough, nobody was there except the core devotees, and then those that had promised to come. It was a social obligation. Half of them came. So, but the host wanted me to speak something very introductory. So there was nobody introductory to speak to except the youth. So I got the youth. The kids came and sat in the front, and it was kids' class. So that I knew that if the kids were learning, when the guests came in, they would tune in. They wouldn't feel like weird because we're learning kids stuff, because it was for the kids. They would feel comfortable. So I posed the following question for the kids to answer. I said, okay, you guys have an exam. They were younger than you guys. They're much younger. It's the same question. Why is it difficult? Imagine, let's take Spirit Soul, Mr. Spirit Soul. And he is going along, trying to find happiness in the material life, the material world. And he tries it in this life, and he tries it in that species, and he tries it over here, and he tries it over there. And after millions of trying that, so many lifetimes, he finally comes to the position and says, it's not working. I think I want to be with Krishna. Yeah, I want to be with Krishna. Let me just trash all this other stuff that's not working, and let me just go to Krishna. Krishna is very kind. Krishna will accept me. He tries to make a U-turn. And it should be easy to make a U-turn, but it's not easy to make a U-turn. Just turn around and go to Krishna. So why is it difficult? Asked the kids. And they were, kind of nervous at first, but then started giving answers. And then a very young girl, 4 or 5 years of age, and she has a speech defect. She can't speak so well. But she raised her hand and said, because the soul says yes, but the senses say, I want sense gratification. And then a boy raised his hand and said that the mind says, I want to be independent. Okay, you got the answer. The soul is saying, I want to go to Krishna. Why is it so difficult? The sensors are saying, no, I want sense gratification. And the mind is saying, give up my independence? No way. Forget it. But the soul is saying, no, I want to go to Krishna. And the conditioned tendency is very strong. So once we're on the treadmill of material life, it's very powerful. Maya is very powerful. She's got a hold on us, and she doesn't let go unless Krishna orders her to let go. So there's the test of our will, our test of our determination. Therefore, it's just like this purport of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He's describing that the bhakti process is sufficient to dissolve this gross and subtle body. But because of attachment, it takes some time. And therefore, bhakti has to be practiced steadfastly over a period of time. The purifying potency is there. Looking for the phrase. Here it is. Only by repeated bhakti, gradually, the realization of Paramatma or Tat appears. Because of our conditioned tendency. And it's, because conditioned tendency is there, it's not just a matter of snapping your fingers and say, okay, enough of that, I'm moving on to the next thing. Conditioned tendency is very strong. So, what to do? Should I continue a little bit, or should we have kirtan for a while? Or would you like to just ask spontaneous questions, or what would you all like to do? You hungry? What's the feedback here? Anyone? Yeah.
My favorite is when you're doing answering questions, so this is very nice.
This is very nice. Okay. No one else spoke up, so you win. Okay. I'll go until like another 10, 12 minutes and we'll finish up. I understand that my relation with devotees, especially those guiding me, plays a major role in my progress. I want to strengthen my connection with my mentors. Can you elaborate on how to, it's in quotes, how to do this? Well, how to establish a relationship is the question. We have Rupa Goswami's teaching, Dadati Pratigrinati Guyamakyati Pritchati. And another statement is, very simply put, just open your heart. Well, how do I open my heart? You express without reservation your feelings and your contemplations and what's important to you. You share that with your mentors, with the qualified persons to share that with. That allows not only what the inner contemplations that are going on to be looked at and shared with by others, but it opens one to receive something that the kindness, the mercy, and the wisdom, and the experience, and the guidance of mentors. Both. It means developing a genuine loving relationship. A genuine loving relationship isn't merely formal. Like, okay, I've got a mentor, so I'm supposed to report to them. But it's entering into a loving relationship. And if you can even say to that person who is your mentor, I'm really not so good at this. I don't know how to. So that in itself is a opening of the heart. And it says, I feel even uncomfortable saying it because, that's another opening of the heart. Because, I think I've got some pride going on inside here, and it doesn't look good if I say I don't know how to. And so with that kind of opening of the heart and sharing what's your internal life and your external life, practically speaking, how do you keep yourself and what's going on? Then it's not just you're on your own. You have the resource of another caring person, and that's strengthening, and that strength then helps you conduct your devotional service and helps you take the next step in that relationship also. So it's a little bit like the question of how do I increase chanting. It's one step at a time, little by little. That relationship can be expanded, and when you feel strength from that relationship expanding and growing, then you can take further steps. In the popular culture, there's a lot of focus on meditation, but not in the ISKCON movement. Is chanting equivalent of meditation? You bet. They didn't say you bet, I said that. The others are a mechanical version as opposed to a natural version. Let's do this. Mother Jasoda. Mother Jasoda is churning butter. And when she's churning butter for Krishna, she's not just another duty to do, and so when that's done, I'll take care of the other things, then I'll take care of the other things, and take care of the other things. And then her day is filled up with, household chores. She loves Krishna. And because she loves Krishna, whatever she does is for Krishna. And so when she's doing for Krishna, she's singing. And her churning of this is in the Damodar Leela, it's described by our acharyas. Her bangles are like cartels. They're banging into one another. Ching, 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 ching. And the paddle of the butter urn is the mridanga. Boom, 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 ching, ching, ching. So she's just singing songs of Krishna. She doesn't have her songbook. She's just spontaneously speaking and glorifying Krishna's wonderful pastimes, Krishna's beautiful form, his beautiful face, his decorations, his wonderful loving dealings, his transcendental activities. Boom, boom, ching, ching, ching. She says, so we're not on that spontaneous platform, so we have our sadhana. We have our practices to cultivate. And by practicing in that way, that's a meditation. Meditation upon what? the other practices of meditation, it's not upon what? It's just meditation. It's maybe emptying the mind of all thoughts, and so that you can be peaceful. That's one type of meditation. Or meditating. I saw some pictures of Buddhists meditating. They're like around this circle, and it's a big, big mandala with all kinds of details, and they're leaning over, and for hours they're just fixing their mind upon this mandala on the floor, so that they're fixing their mind on something, so the other thoughts are quieted. And that way something happens, there's some kind of, the roar of the disturbance of, material energy subsides, and it becomes a different variety of the material energy. That's a type of meditation, etc. So our meditation is meditation on sound, on the sound of Krishna's name. And when we're chanting, that's what it should be. Not just, oh, got to chant my rounds because, you're supposed to chant japa. That's part of the Hare Krishna thing. But it's absorbing the mind in the sound of Krishna's name. And when we do like that, it's very powerful meditation. It's very powerful even if we don't do that. If we're just chanting mechanically. But if we're absorbing the mind in transcendental sound, at the Champaign-Urbana program, there was a girl that kept bringing this up, that went over on the side, in the front. Dr. Emoto's work with water, and you say things like, I love you, or peace, or thank you, over water, and then you freeze the water, flash freeze it, and then as the crystals are thawing, put it under high powered microscope and see what the crystals look like. And where it's good thoughts and good vibrations, it's like beautiful crystals. And then when there's other sounds, or even just write a piece of paper, I hate you, or you make me sick, or I want to kill you, or something, mean-spirited. Just even writing on a piece of paper, putting it on the bottle, and then freezing it, and the crystals look all muddy and yucky and really awful, distorted, discolored, horrible. So, sound vibration is very powerful, and thought with sound vibration is very powerful, and the holy name chanted with feeling is very powerful. It certainly is a meditation. So we don't describe it as the mechanical system of meditation, but it's our principal practice. It's meditation. It's bringing the mind to focus upon Krishna, manmana, most effectively through sound vibration. And we'll have a little kirtan at the end, so we'll do our little mantra meditation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, shall we pass here? There is another 9 more minutes.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Can you or somebody else summarize everything today, Prabhu?
Yeah, I'll say.
Whatever was heard?
Yeah. I will have someone.
I think we'll make it a standard practice that the one who's the host in future will summarize for 4 or 5 minutes, and then everybody else add something on top of that. Is that fine with everybody? Next week onwards, or maybe tomorrow onwards.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay, I think here, like Maharaj, for the initial question, he mentioned that uh, the increment in the chanting should be in the stepwise and not as a drastic change. So rather, increasing the number in the count, like increase the feeling behind your chanting. So and your chanting will increase automatically. So that's where like Maharaj was mentioning, make efforts to increase in chanting in incremental steps. So that's the one thing. For the another question, there was a question on like leaving loud place for material benefit. So that was a question by another devotee. So that's where like Maharaj nicely gave an example as Srila Prabhupada, like so he left Vrindavan as a service. So and other example like Maharaj has mentioned very nicely. And in the same thing, like Maharaj mentioned, like each circumstance Krishna arranges for us as its opportunity. So we should say as an opportunity, and that's what Maharaj mentioned. Like after going there, like we can meet like another community of the devotees, we can grow very well. So that's how we should see in the life. Like every circumstance, we should see Krishna's hand, and there is opportunity for us to grow. And for the next question, like Maharaj was mentioning, like we are more attached to the misery, and the source for misery is the ignorance. So we should come out of it. And also during the same question, like Maharaj mentioned, Maya is very powerful. She got hold on us, and she does not let go. So unless Krishna orders her to go, so there is a test of our will and test of our determination. And also, there's another question like how to be in relation with the mentor. So Maharaj nicely explained on this. Like, so one should open their heart and express without reservation your feelings and your contemplations and what is important to you. So that's how like develop a genuine relation, loving relationship. With this opening, one feel like the one can feel as a strength. And Maharaj mentioned like it's a slowly like increase in your chanting, and it's one step at a time. So that's how one can maintain relationship with the mentor. And also there is another question on the meditation. Like generally we in the ISKCON like we will not do. So then Maharaj mentioned like different kind of meditations. So first one like emptying the mind and thinking as like we can be as peaceful. And also like Buddhist meditation also Maharaj mentioned like fixing the mind on mandala. And then Maharaj explained about like what is our meditation like. It's meditation on the sound, the Krishna's name, absorbing the mind in the sound of Krishna. So it is a very powerful meditation. Like these are all the things like which I made you note. I would request devotees like any points or any questions or any comments.
Yes, Prabhu. So you are nicely summarized. So my takeaway is here, like when soul is saying I want Krishna, but other senses and the mind were saying differently, like I want sense gratification and I want independence. How can I leave that? So that's a really good part. We have to train the mind to be in the Krishna consciousness or for the Lord. And the other point is regarding meditation on sound like rather than doing mechanically. So it's very important to practice. Like this is our principle, main principle, as we need to chant. The other one, like mentor relationship, this is very important. How openly. So he is again stressing on that point very nicely. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, Govind Prabhu, would you like to share? Kumarika Mataji, do you have anything to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Today all the questions were of very great practical importance to us. But the one, the topmost importance is the mentor-mentee relationship. We are very fortunate if we have a person who is willing to sacrifice his already time and limited time, and he is spending some time for us, willing to listen to us, our little problems, big problems, and lend a sympathetic ear and give us some counsel. It is not without sacrifice that anybody can do it. So, but we do not usually actually realize the value of that guidance or that. So then Maharaj put it so nicely, and in several lectures, not only in this, I have heard from Maharaj that if you have got a strong mentor relationship with your mentor or with your people who are guiding you spiritually, then you will definitely progress. That is assured way to success in your spiritual life. But for that some basic qualities are required, like some humility and submission to somebody else's views. And that is where we go wrong. We have got this ahankar, this false ego, I know everything. And we really do not want some advice. We already make the decisions, and then we go to the mentor and say, see, I have decided to do this. And that is not the way to approach. So if we are really sharing, if you want to postpone your, say, Prabhu, you're going for initially you are going for initiation in 2026 at Vrindavan, and you want to postpone it to next year for whatever reasons. The right way is to go and approach your mentor and ask him, see, for these reasons now I am trying to postpone my taking initiation to next year instead of this. What are the pros and cons? That is the way for us to, but automatically we decide. And then we give a statement, I have decided to do this. Then we don't require a mentor. That is where we ourselves, we show that we don't actually require their help. And they have got enough worries and jobs to do. So it is not that they are going to take interest in you particularly. But if you are got that submissive approach and consult really before doing something, then the mercy will flow, the guidance will come. And then we will be making, because we are not, why do we require a mentor at all? Because we, in every decision in our lives, like changing jobs or changing your place of living, you are seeing it from your practical, materialistic the inputs and the outcomes. But the mentor or Guru Maharaj will see it differently. They will be looking at it, how it will be affecting your spiritual life. What will happen to you spiritually? If you take up that job or if you leave this place, and what will be your position? So that is, they are worried not only about your material life, but also about your spiritual life. So that will be a dispassionate and an objective view of what is good and what is bad for us. But we do not understand. I am not a perfect mentee at all. I have done a lot of mistakes, which I regret. I am just telling you all this because it might be of use to you. You people are entering your spiritual lives, and mentor-mentee relationship is new for you. So it is not a document to be read for the purpose of initiation. That is a chore to be done. And you have to make a tick mark and I have read the document. No. It is a relationship to be understood because it is going to help you. If you go about it very nicely, it is going to help you to go places. Maharaj himself has told this several times that people who have got a very strong mentee relationship, they will go places. That's all I want to say, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for nicely briefing the importance. Sarbari Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I just wanted to appreciate what Kumalika Mataji said. And also I want to pay my deep gratitude and respect to Shamkun Prabhu and Kumalika Mataji for being wonderful mentors actually. We are actually really fortunate to have people like them in our lives. In spite of all their hectic schedules and everything, they make themselves available for us whenever there is a genuine need. So just wanted to pay my gratitude to both of them. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Tori mentioned like it's 100% true. We are so fortunate to have them in our life. Shampun Prabhu, do you have anything to share?
I'm still thinking, Prabhu. If anything is there, I will post it in the group. It's already 6:59.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody else can.
We can use tomorrow, Prabhu. I think tomorrow is very short.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else? Any comment or questions? Yes, Subhidra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Yeah, thank you, bro. One small question. I don't know if it will be good to ask because the entire mode is different. But just from the class, previously I remember asking His Grace Shamkund Prabhu in this call only regarding Jiva's relation with the Lord. Is it out of the 5 rasas, is it fixed or does it depend? And then Shamkun Prabhu said, I don't think it is fixed. It largely depends on whom we associate with and which deities we worship and many other factors. So now, when I was hearing to Maharaj, then that question again popped up when Maharaj said that Jiva fall down is explicitly mentioned. So I was thinking when we say we have to revive our relationship back with Krishna, does it is the implicit meaning that reviving our exact rasa back with Krishna, or is it just reviving relationship means it is just reviving the relationship irrespective of rasa? So this question came up again. So I just wanted to get some more clarity. I don't think it's an interesting discussion, but it just came up. Yeah. Sorry, bro.
It's not about not interesting, Prabhu. I'll just say this. I'll say this because the way Maharaj said it was he didn't say that the Jiva fell from Vaikuntha. What he said was Bhakti Bhushan Maharaj had compiled a list of, and he got a compilation done by another professor and he received the document. So that does not mean a conclusion. So in general, there are many theories about it. And I'm not sure we in ISKCON as such really understand it, which is the final one. I have seen very, very prominent acharyas in our movement uh, telling one thing in one decade and another thing in another decade too. Saying, but overall, there's one fundamental principle that we are willfully taking our mind away from Krishna and our attention and focus away from Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Bringing it back is the root of liberation. That much is common and clear. Beyond that, there are many variations. Variation number one, we were in Vaikuntha. We came from Vaikuntha, we came down to earth, and because we said we don't want to be with Krishna, and when once we do our sadhana properly, we'll go back to Vaikuntha. And this fall down is just once. It doesn't happen again and again. This is variation number one. Variation number two is there was never a time when we were in Vaikuntha. We were right from Anadi Kala. We have always been forgetful of Krishna, but there is a potency in us to revive our relationship with Krishna. And in this variation number two, there are sub themes 2A, which is I have a fixed, so I mean, like broadly, it is fixed of what I'm going to do back in devotional service. It is like say, for example, these old age, the warriors in olden times, they used to have this armor, coat of arms. It used to cover their chest, their and the face and the head and everything. So our swaroop is something like that. It's already present, broadly present. So we go back to wear that armor. That's 2A. 2B is the Bhakti Shakti is present. The seed is there in us, but for it to grow, it's like the Bhakti Shakti is there, the Swarup Shakti is there as the seed in us, but it needs like a gardener who's going to pour the water on the seed. And that are the wonderful Vaishnavas we come across in this world. And because of that, the seed of devotional service grows from this material world all the way to the spiritual world. So, in other words, uh, it is the tendency to serve is present, but the finer details comes depending upon who is that devotee whom we want to emulate. And accordingly, uh, things will manifest. That is 2B. And then there are even more variations. I hope I confused you enough, Prabhu.
Yeah, but thank you, Prabhu. Okay. Yeah, I think you clarified. Yeah, whatever is there, you presented as it is. Yeah, thank you, bro. But just on a funny note, I heard long back, when I asked you previously, also I told that I asked someone, but I could not get proper answer. So in that answer, one of my mentors when I was in Hyderabad, he quoted His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj. Someone asked the same thing, and Maharaj said, "It seems don't try to figure out, just get out of this material world." So
Yeah,
I just thought
yeah.
of sharing. Yeah.
And
Thank
when
you,
you
bro.
hear this, and when you hear the statement, sometimes we also hear from Maharaj saying, if you know how you got in, you will know how to get out. So for some people, it becomes a curiosity thing. Some devotees or my spiritual master are telling, if you know how to get in, then you know how the way to get out. And some people say the way to get in is one, the way to get out is different. Um, so all these different views are there. I'm just telling it. And on a different note, Shweta Mataji had a question. We'll probably cover that also tomorrow.
Sure.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, once again for joining. We'll pause here and we'll continue from tomorrow. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Prabhu, if you are there, can you end for all?
Yes, Prabhu. I will end it for all, Prabhu.